Am I dating anybody? Would I get married again? Do I want more kids? I got catfished and I didn't know what to do, and me being me, I would trend surf. So I would spend a lot of time researching what is currently trending on the internet.
How have you changed for the better and for the worse since your divorce?
You guys are really hitting me with the tough questions. What's up guys? I'm down here at Cranbourne Botanic Gardens and today I'm going to answer some of your questions. So let's get into it. The first question I'm going to answer is from Joy, and she said, Jamie, would you get back into making music videos? I loved making music videos. I had a lot of fun while I was doing it. But to be honest, at this stage in my life with the responsibilities that I have, it's not an industry I'm looking to get back into. It's one that's very hard to make money in, but I really loved my time doing all of that. Jamie, just wondering, have you ever tried online dating? If so, what was your experience like? Y'all are nosy. I just want to say that, like, off the bat. Y'all, no, I'm playing. I don't know why, I'm a little bit embarrassed to admit that yes, I have tried dating apps over the years. I've given them all a crack. I've tried Bumble, Hinge, even Tinder, and Raya, and I've had a mixed bag of experiences. I haven't met a lot of people off the dating app, so I kind of find it hard to figure out if I've got a connection with somebody just through texting, especially because I feel like people on dating apps, they're texting a lot of different people at the same time, and it's hard to figure out if there's a connection there. And I'm the type of person, I don't really want to invest my time into actually meeting up with someone unless I feel like there is some kind of a connection there. I'm a bit old school. I much prefer a phone call or, you know, meet somebody like not on an app, but I have tried it and I've had different experiences, both good and bad and in between. I've met some wonderful people who, you know, it just wasn't meant to be, but they've been really lovely. And yeah, I'll give you my worst and best experience that I've had through dating apps. So my worst one was also my very first ever dating app experience. So I was talking to this woman for probably a month or so before I actually said, hey, do you want to meet up, go out? We had spoken on the phone once beforehand as well, and she seemed really cool. And we organized to meet, and I got to the place where we were meeting, and she actually was there before I was, and she sent me a text to say that she was there. And I went in there and she was the only person there. So obviously it was her. Had she not texted me to say that she was there, I don't think there's any way I would have realized that that was the person that I'd been talking to, because I'm 95% sure it wasn't the same person that I'd seen in the pictures. I got catfished and I didn't know what to do, and me being me, I sat down, I stuck around, I didn't confront the fact that I was meeting up with a completely different person that I thought I was going to be meeting up with. And you know, we just got to know each other, and she was actually quite nice, and you know, she had some, I guess, confidence issues, and I can relate to that because I got confidence issues too. I think deep down most of us do, and maybe that's why she decided to use different pictures. But I don't know what she was thinking in her head when she met up with me. Like, did she think I wasn't going to notice, or if I noticed, it would just be like I don't know what she was thinking yet. I didn't ask her what she was thinking. And obviously we didn't go on a second date, but that was my first experience. And after that, I was just like, wow, is this what dating apps are all about? People just use pictures of other people and that's that. I'd say my best dating app experience, I met a really wonderful woman. This is probably about 2 years ago. And we ended up dating for 4 or 5 months. It never really got serious. It never got to the point where I introduced her to the girls. But yeah, we're still friends to this day. It didn't end for a reason. It just kind of fizzled out. And in all honesty, I feel like it was on me. I was going through a really messy divorce at that point in time, and I just don't think I was really ready for a serious relationship. I was a bit closed off. Like, I feel like, yeah, I won't go into all the thought processes that were going on in my head, but I feel like I wasn't quite ready for a relationship at that point in time. But we have managed to stay friends. So yeah, that was a really positive experience that I had on a dating app. To expose myself. That sounded wrong.
We'll leave you to that. We'll leave you to that.
So Ray Rich Brown must have noticed the Dame artwork in my old house. Dame is my favorite graffiti artist ever since I was a teenager, and no one ever knows who he is. So I really appreciated this comment. And he said, be honest, were you ever into graph yourself? So when I was a teenager, I was pretty involved in the graffiti scene. I wrote a lot. I got myself in a lot of trouble with it. I was never really talented, but I did try. Some of my friends were very, very talented graffiti artists, and I have a great appreciation for graffiti art rather than graffiti vandalism. But yeah, I was involved in it. I just wasn't that good. Do you get your girls only for the weekends or every second week for the whole week? So the girls live with me 1 week on, 1 week off. So yeah, 50% of the time. I have a weird job.
Are you recording?
No, I'm not recording yet. No. These are the 3 questions that I keep getting asked the most. Am I dating anybody? Would I get married again? And do I want more kids? So right now I'm not dating anyone. If I'm to get into a serious relationship, marriage is the goal for me. It's the example that I want to be able to set for my kids. And do I want more kids? I'm getting older, I'm conscious of that. So if I was to have another child, it would be beautiful and I would be really happy about it. If I wasn't, I would still live a happy life because I'm blessed with 2 amazing daughters. Someone else asked me, what's it like dating as a divorced dad? And it is a lot harder. And I know that I'm probably the issue because I struggle to juggle dad me and Jamie me, and it's something that I need to work on about myself. But yeah, that's the hardest part of dating as a single dad, being able to, you know, juggle my dad responsibilities with, you know, responsibilities to another person that you do have responsibilities towards.
Oh, sweet love.
I was asked, do I have a favorite memory? I've got a few, but I'm going to share 2 of them. The first one is the first time Ava learned to swim. I've been trying to teach Ava to swim for some time, and it wasn't quite clicking, which is pretty normal with swimming. And then there was this one day where she just started swimming. And seeing her go from not being able to swim to being able to swim, and knowing that I had been teaching her and it had worked, she had gotten there, it made me feel not only good for her, but good about myself. It made me feel like I had done something right. And what was the icing on the cake was her reaction. She said to me,
I'm proud of you.
I think it's the compliment you gave me that helped me do it.
I'm glad that helped. I'm so proud of you. Just when I think back to it, you can see on my face, it brightens me up. It makes me feel just so happy. It's a moment that I would love to live again and again and again, and I'm so grateful for experiencing it. Another moment that I think about when I'm just trying to put myself in a good mood is there was this day that Zoe overcame one of her fears. And we had gone to this play center and it had this ridiculously steep slide. And the slide is so steep that even me as an adult, I was scared to go down it. And I'm seeing all these kids doing it and I'm feeling anxious about it. And eventually Ava and I, we went down it, but Zoe was still too scared to do it. And she hadn't really mentioned it again for a few weeks, maybe a month. And our daddy-daughter day was coming up and I asked her what she wanted to do and she asked if we could go back to that play center so she could overcome her fear and go down that slide. So it had obviously been on her mind. And we went there and we spent probably about an hour, kept going back to that slide, and she just didn't want to go down it. And I didn't blame her. She was really little and the slide was really big. And then eventually she said, "Dad, can you go down it with me?" And I said, "Yeah." Count us in.
3, 2, 1.
Ah! So cool. How was that? We're going again. She was so excited, so proud of herself, and just wanted to keep going down that slide over and over and over again. And seeing her overcome a fear, it was just one of those parenting moments that just made me feel like $1 million. And these are the type of moments that when you look back on them, they put you in an elevated state. They lift your whole mood, they change your whole day. And they're so much more special than, I feel like, the moments that people tell us we should be aspiring for. This is why it's always been such a priority for me to be such a present role in my girls' lives, because I know that this means so much more than the stuff that the world's trying to tell me means something more. Jamie, how did you grow your followings? How did you get brand deals? Do you have a management team or do you work alone? Great questions, but a lot of questions. I'll do my best to answer them all. So yes, I have a manager. I've had a few different managers over the years. The first 4 years of being on YouTube, I did everything myself, and I'll be completely honest, I'm not a businessman. I'm a creative and I'm someone who's great at networking. So having a manager really helps. It's like I've got someone to play bad cop and I can just be good cop and focus on creating. Finding the right manager who is a good fit for you is very important. How did I grow my following? So look, there's a lot of different ways that I grew my following, and the game's changed since I started. I'm like a dinosaur on YouTube. When I first started on YouTube, one of the ways that I really grew my channel was I would share my YouTube videos on every forum or message board that I could find. I signed up to every single one that I could find, and I'd spend a lot of time just going on these boards, sharing links to my YouTube videos, and I got a lot of traction through that. I also used to share them on Facebook, and my videos would get a lot of shares through Facebook. That was before Facebook was competing with YouTube. Now if you share a YouTube video on Facebook, it won't really get much traction, but back then it did. Another thing that I did that made a lot of difference was I would trend surf. So I would spend a lot of time researching what is currently trending on the internet. What are people talking about? What are people wanting to watch? And finding ways that I could incorporate that into my videos, whether it be trending topics, whether it be trending challenges, even trending thumbnail styles and title styles, things like that. I would look at what my peers are doing. I would analyze different thumbnails and titles that they had on their videos and try and figure out, why is this one doing well? Why is this one not doing well? I'd do that on my own channel, but doing that on other channels with similar audiences would really help and help me understand what could do well in the future for me as well. So just really doing your research helps. And a big one is just fostering a great community that you genuinely care about. Community's always been a big thing for me on YouTube since the very beginning. I loved interacting with the people who watched and caring about them and commenting back to them and remembering the regulars. And how did I get brand deals over the years? So most of my brand deals have just come from my inbox, people reaching out to me and saying that they want to work with me, or reaching out to my management team. But I've also gotten brand deals from meeting people at events, like meeting people who work for the companies directly, or the agencies who work with these companies. They may know you and like what you do on the internet, but meeting them in person and having a personal connection with them is going to make them so much more likely to want to work with you than only knowing them through a computer screen. I'm not saying you can't get brand deals that way, because I have, but when you know the people in person, it does make them a lot more likely to want to work with you. I have had a lot of luck getting paid sponsorships from reaching out to brands directly. I've got a lot of products for free from reaching out to them directly, but I've found in general, when you reach out to a brand directly and you show that initial interest, monetizing that relationship becomes a lot harder. So how do you get brands to notice you when you're just starting? That's the million-dollar question. Well, make it a common theme in your videos to show the products that you genuinely like, so that when a brand watches your videos, they can imagine what a partnership with you would actually look like. So let's say you're somebody who makes comedy videos and you never show products in your video. How is Apple gonna think, well, a partnership between us and this person is gonna do very well? So make it a habit to show the things that you genuinely like in your videos, and let your audience know that you are the type of person who gives your opinion on things that you like and don't like, and even tag some of the brands that you like. So if you want to work with hair care products, make some hair tutorials. If you want to work with beauty products, make some beauty tutorials for free, and mention the products that you're using in these videos, and that will entice brands to work with you.
Rashetta Cannon asked, how have you changed for the better and for the worse since your divorce? What are some lessons you've learned from that experience that you will take with you moving forward?
You guys are really hitting me with the tough questions. How have I grown through my divorce? I would say my relationship with God has grown a lot through my divorce. I was raised as a Christian, raised going to church, but I ended up just not believing in God for a long time. And it was a year before I left my ex-wife that I first started going back to church. First started thinking, I want to get my life right with God. And that came through reading different books on marriage. So I, for a few years, was just reading or listening to any audio book I could on marriage. And the ones that seemed to make the most sense to me were the ones by Christian authors, especially Gary Chapman. The first Gary Chapman book I ever read was The 5 Love Languages, and then I read The 5 Apology Languages and Things I Wish I Knew Before We Had Kids, and I think it's called Loving Your Spouse When You Feel Like Walking Away. And I read pretty much every Gary Chapman book that I could get my hands on, and through that it made me start wanting to go to church. But then as my relationship really broke down, it pulled me much closer to God. And, church has become a big part of my life, and so has my relationship with God. And through that, I feel like I've taught my children a lot as well. So that is a place where I feel like I've really grown through my divorce, but it's something that I struggle to tell people that story, because it just seems so conflicting. How can a person grow closer to God while going through something that God
dislike so much, and it's still something I don't understand and can't really explain, to be honest. But you know, building a relationship with God definitely helped me through a lot. Ways that I've changed for the worse, yeah, you know, like I've got a lot of anxiety that I've kind of had to deal with over the years. Trust issues. I'm still rebuilding my confidence in myself, if I'm completely honest. So yeah, it's changed me for the better in some ways, in the worse in other ways. I think it's made me a much more patient person. It's made me appreciate my time with my family more so. It makes you really analyze what is most important in your life. I feel like they're areas that I've both grown and shrunk, for lack of better words. So Shay asks, what are 3 tips that you would give to somebody starting their own vlog? And the first one I would say is don't overthink it and don't put too much pressure on your first couple of videos. Don't spend too much time on them, because I feel like one of the things that tanks a YouTube channel really fast is putting too much effort into your first videos and then becoming really disheartened when they don't get a lot of views. Because the reality is your first 10, maybe even 15 videos are not going to get many views, and then you'll get that one video that pops off, and then that's the video that'll make people go back and watch the back catalog and subscribe, because people don't want to subscribe to channels that don't have a back catalog, because they want to see that you're consistent. They want to see that there's a reason to hit that subscribe button and that they're going to go on a journey with you, and you're not just somebody who, you know, uploads here and there or who isn't going to continue uploading. But the people who, you know, they put too much effort into the first few videos, the time investment doesn't really seem worth it, and so they don't continue. And people also enjoy watching growth. They enjoy seeing you go from making pretty average videos to great videos. It's just it's a cool journey to go on with the creator. 2 would be respect your audience and add value to them. And the last tip that I would give you is one where you can learn from my mistakes, and that's don't get trapped in a box that isn't sustainable for you to fit in. People know me as a family content creator. It's what people have watched me for over the years, couple YouTube or family YouTube. And when they see me in a different place, it's not what they signed up for. So they're not gonna continue watching the same way they would for the initial reason that they watched me for. And so that's a tip that I would give you when you're trying to think of the box that you're potentially going to get stuck in. Make sure that it's one that is both sustainable and one that you love. Like, let's say, for example, you start making YouTube videos about a TV show that you love. And while that TV show's trending, people are going to be watching your videos. But let's say the TV show gets cancelled or it just finishes. What are you going to do after that? Because transitioning an audience that watches Game of Thrones to you making videos about sneakers, they're 2 different audiences that generally like 2 different things. So it's going to be really hard to move that audience from one topic to another, and the algorithm's going to get to know you for one thing as well. So just make sure that you're doing something that is sustainable and that you are going to continue loving for years down the track, because that's what's going to stop you from burning out. Somebody asked if I've ever thought about doing some small Zoom chat groups with some subscribers. And that's something that I've actually wanted to do over the years, and I've thought about it. I just haven't really known how to put it together, because I want it to be people who are there for the right reasons, not just people who come in and try and troll or whatever. When I was thinking about doing a Patreon years ago, that was one of the perks that I was going to put in there, because I figured if people are willing to pay to, support and be part of the group, then, they're a bit more genuinely wanting to be there. But one of the things that I've always loved about YouTube is getting to know you guys as well, because you're getting to know me, and I always love getting to meet you guys and getting to hear your stories as well. If anybody has any ideas, leave them below, because I would definitely love to find more ways to just genuinely connect and hang out with you guys. Will I try and add some good wedding content with the wedding party? So I would love to do that, but at this point in time, I'm not filming my own weddings. I'm like the second shooter, and my first time meeting the couple is on their wedding day. And I just always feel like it's really inappropriate to ask a couple on their big day, hey, can I feature you in my vlog? Especially, with them not really knowing much about who I am or what I do. I just feel like it's their special day and I don't want to add that to it. But as I go on with doing more weddings, I would really love to do that. I think it would be cool to show some of the footage that I'm filming in the weddings, and as I start getting my own weddings where I'm the main person, like people are hiring me as their wedding videographer, if they're cool with it, I would love to show some of that behind the scenes stuff and the actual footage, because I'm just showing you guys just snippets from the iPhone. So that's something that I would love to do. And hey, if I end up shooting your wedding, you recognize me and you want some of your wedding in one of my vlogs, feel free to let me know, because I would definitely love to show some of that stuff. Someone said, what are some of your favorite kids' playgrounds in Southeast Melbourne? So there's the Rocket Park in Cranbourne, I think it's Cranbourne West maybe. That's the kids' favorite park. I absolutely love that one. That's the one with the hamster wheel. There's also one in Officer that was voted the best kids park in Australia a couple of years ago. It's the Dragon Park. That one's really, really cool. Very random question, but where did you get your BXLA Jewel logo hat from? So that one it's called a golfer cap. I've got a couple of those. I've got the New York one as well. And that's from Culture Kings. I actually got that from the Culture Kings outlet. So they're on sale for $30 at the moment. I think they've still got them. Will I ever go back to court to reverse the decision to make YouTube content? At this point in time, I don't think so. It's pretty complicated. So at a very just broken point where I was just desperate to get everything over and done with, and I agreed to have the YouTube stipulation put into parenting orders. And from what I've been explained, to get parenting orders, like anything on a parenting order changed, it's a very lengthy process. It's going through the family court all over again from scratch, essentially. So from what I've been told, the advice I've been given, it could potentially take years to change that. I regret the decision that I made. I feel like my lawyers really let me down at a moment where I was just really broken and willing to agree to anything. I feel like I didn't really have good counsel on that day, but it's where I'm at. How do you cope with your autoimmune disorder when days aren't so sunny? Honestly, I get frustrated. I feel like I get really disappointed in myself. It sucks having a crappy immune system. So when I was early in my teens, that's when I started just getting sick all the time. And I would go to doctor after doctor, get test after test. No one could figure out why I was always sick. They could see I was sick, but no one could really figure out what was causing it. Like I would go to ENTs, I would go to different doctors, and eventually I went to a guy who specializes in chronic fatigue syndrome, and he diagnosed me with that. To
to this day, I don't know if that's actually why I'm always sick, because you hear so many stories of people getting diagnosed with that and finding out it was just like a wrong diagnosis. And then people would say, look into Lyme disease. And years ago, I finally went and got all the tests for that, and they said, you've got Lyme disease. And then that's another one where when I tell doctors I've tested for Lyme disease and they said you have it, doctors in Australia especially are a bit wary of that diagnosis. So I'm always like, well, is that what it is? All I know is I go through phases of having good health, and then I just struggle to shake any infection that comes my way. And I don't blame people for getting frustrated with me, because it's like they see me doing all that I do when I'm healthy. So it's like, why can you do that? And now you're just run down. Like it doesn't make sense to me, so I understand that it doesn't make sense to them. And I feel like most people, they see the world through their own worldview. Like what life's like for me is what life's like for you. So people always give you advice like, if you eat this, you'll be healthy. If you do this, you'll be healthy. If you do that, you'll be healthy. Not really knowing how much stuff I've tried throughout my life to kind of shake whatever I've got. And yeah, so it's like when I'm healthy, I try and do as much as I possibly can, because it almost feels like I've got a superpower, because it's like good health, energy, let's do as much as I possibly can with the kids, let's work as much as I possibly can, because I'm kind of anticipating that my health may go downhill and I'll have to deal with the bad health. And yeah, I guess that's what it's like. I feel like only people who've had to deal with immune issues can really understand what it's like. It's like you're constantly trying to justify yourself to people and over-explain what it's like to people, and just giving up explaining. I downplay it a lot because I don't want to be seen as a sick person as well. I remember through school, I would miss a lot of school and I would just make out that I was wagging school. I prefer to be seen as the bad kid than the sick kid. I remember in year 9, my teacher used to make my whole class clap if I was at school from Monday to Friday, because it was so rare that I would be there the whole week, and everyone thought I just was wagging, but I was actually, I was sick a lot. And I feel guilty with the kids when I am sick, because I want to be the dad that I am when I'm well. And I'm really blessed in the way that they're really understanding about it. They know when I'm sick I can't do as much, and they don't complain, and I'm thankful for that. But I feel guilty when my health isn't good. I don't want to, you know, feel like I'm giving you guys a sub story. But yeah, that's what it's like. I feel like only people with immune issues can really understand. It's like you're constantly just hoping that one day you're going to try the right diet or do the right thing, and all of a sudden you're not going to get sick all the time. And you're hoping that it's finally like you figured it out. That's what it's like. So it's frustrating on the days when days aren't so sunny, and I'm just trying to learn to listen to my body and not burn myself out when I am not feeling so great, and just make the most of life when I am.
You have so much passion and creativity. Where do you see yourself in your career in the next 5 years? Honestly, at this point, I don't 100% know. I'm trying a bunch of different things, trying to figure that out. But ideally, I'd love to be making a living out of telling people stories and figuring out what makes them special, and being able to show that through the lens of my camera, because that's what I've been doing for so long and what I love to do. I love to find the beauty in people and express that through a camera, or just working with companies and brands to create content for them as well. But I guess
we'll see where the future wants to take me. I'm still figuring it all out at the moment because I'm so used to doing one thing, because I've literally been doing one thing for so long that it is, it's difficult figuring out how to move into other fields when you've just known one thing for so long. But I'm getting there. It's all part of the process.
Well, that's it for today's video. I just wanted to say thanks so much to everybody who sent in questions, and also sorry to the people whose questions that I wasn't able to answer. I hope you all had an amazing day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.